Call this meeting to order, February 10th, 2025 school board meeting. Verification of meeting posted. This meeting was posted in accordance with all open meeting laws. Attendance roll call.
Brett. Here. Here.
Here.
Lori. Here. Evan. Here. Tracy.
Here. Everybody's present. We have a quorum. So if everyone would stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance, Jason, can you lead us?
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Motion to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to recognitions, we do not have any tonight. Next, we have public comment. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment tonight. And we move on to 4, consent agenda. Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, or does anyone want anything removed for individual consideration? No? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And then we move on to student representation.
Girls basketball is doing amazing this season. They currently have a record of 19-3, and their next home game is tomorrow against DSHA at home to celebrate the amazing seniors that have affected this team. The high school musical program is having their show-stopping musical Mamma Mia coming out soon. Opening night is Thursday, February 20th, and they will have shows Thursday through Sunday. The boys' swim team is on their way to sectionals this week. They are ecstatic to compete in their events and hope to qualify for the state meet. The Winterizer was a huge success. We raised $30,000 for the Draper family through the program Swish for a Wish, and we had 1,000 people show up, and we had a great time putting smiles on people's faces. At Lake Danoon, the 8th grade science class students did egg cars, which they had to make sure their egg did not crack when pushed down a ramp into the wall. The students had so much fun designing their cars, and the challenge aspect was great for their learning. At Muskego Lakes, the club's Peers for Peers is attending their school on Friday to work with the kids on ACP planning, Peers for Peers monitoring, and team building activities. At Baylane, there is a PTO meeting on the 18th of February and the book fair on the 3rd of March. There's also a February birthday table to celebrate the kids who have birthdays in February on February 24th. And then lastly, today at Mill Valley, the kids dressed up like Dalmatians for the 101st day of school, and on Wednesdays, they are getting cozy and wearing their pajamas.
Thank you.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions? Great job. All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
All right. Thank you again, Bella, for that report. There's lots of exciting stuff coming up this next month, so our recognitions will be quite a bit fuller this next month in the March board meeting. Our first up, we are proud to welcome our Baylane leadership team and grateful for all of the staff who showed up as well to support the incredible work happening here. So we'll turn it over to Ms. Stanley.
All right. So good evening and welcome to Baylane Elementary. I am Sarah Stanley, principal, and am joined tonight by our associate principals, Josh Griffey and Joshua Hoff. We are home of the Bobcats, where we welcome over 900 students every day. I would like to share a shout out to some special Bobcats who helped make this evening possible. Thank you to Raquel Jacob and Samantha Gibson for their music leadership, along with our 4th grade choir and their families for joining us tonight. Thank you to Carrie Hilgers and Carrie Tylinda for the art displays and for bringing color and joy to our school walls every day. We also appreciate Alyssa Meyer for her beautiful photography. Thank you to our custodial and office teams for the extra effort to prepare the building for tonight's event. it is great to see so many staff, families, and students who are with us tonight. And finally, thank you to our district leadership and school board for coming to see our Bay Lane Elementary School Showcase. BLE is a place where we believe in the power of community, we learn with a mindset of growth, and we empower positive impact. Every day we strive to fulfill our shared mission of every student learning, growing, and succeeding. Let's start by taking a look at our Wisconsin DPI report card results. Here you see a 3-year overview. Since opening 7 years ago, every Bay Lane report card has achieved a 5-star, significantly exceeds expectations rating. While we see this as a celebration, we also know that our data had a downward trend. We are happy to report that we have reversed that trajectory with this year's report card. Last year, we realized we needed to focus on the target group outcomes category, which you can see bolded in the bottom right. Taking a closer look, you can see that our efforts to address the needs of our most vulnerable students by creating individualized learning plans that focus on achievement and emphasize growth have had a positive impact. We are also pleased to see gains in school engagement and attendance. In the next slides, we will look closer at our achievement results in ELA and math. This data graph captures English language arts performance levels of all 3rd and 4th grade students who took the Wisconsin Forward exam in 2023 and in 2024. Wisconsin DPI designed the target group outcomes measure with equity in mind to inform improvement efforts that result in positive change for learners who most need it, while also improving outcomes for all students. The data set shows a positive shift in the growth of the target group and overall achievement in ELA. It also indicates that we have too many students who are performing below the desired meeting and advanced standard. Looking at mathematics through a similar lens, you can also see a positive shift in the growth of the target group and overall achievement in math, which supports DPI's intention for designing a target group. Similar to our ELA data, we also see that too many students are performing below the desired meeting and advanced standard. It is for this reason that we have set a high bar across grade levels for our school learning objective. Our 24-25 whole school goal is that all target group students will be proficient in their grade level standards. This is measured by the Forward exam in 3rd and 4th grade and through universal screeners in the younger grades. This slide represents 42 of our 146 4th grade students and their performance on the Forward exam during their 3rd grade year. This year, we are focused on growing the number of students who are achieving in the meeting and advanced bands. To do this, we are pursuing high leverage actions around professional learning communities, continuing to focus on our target group, maximizing our staff resources, and ensuring that we thrive in a school culture that emphasizes learning. We'll be sharing some of our more specific action steps throughout tonight's presentation. To do that, we would like to invite you to join us on a day in the life of a Bay Lane Bobcat. For our oldest Bobcats, the day begins at 8 o'clock with meetings, planning, and camaraderie. PLCs, IEPs, CSTs, shared leadership team meetings, and planning time all keep us very busy in the first hour of the day. Some high leverage actions around PLCs include increasing the frequency to 2 times a week. This time is necessary to support the work of learning our 2 new curriculums and also to ensure the progress of our identified target group students by collaboratively planning responsive instruction. my goodness, the first hour sure flies by, and before you know it, the students are here. Before we jump into the day, I want everyone to pick a number between 1 and 6. You got it? Whatever number you picked can represent a grade level for you to track your journey through our day. For example, if you chose a 2, you are in 2nd grade. Be sure to check out what you and your classmates are up to first. If you chose a 5, then you can track our 5K students in kindergarten, and a 6 can represent our 4K students. Are you ready to start your day? Our morning begins as a whole school where we come together for morning announcements and the Pledge of Allegiance. As soon as this is done, we get right into the important stuff: math, literacy, intervention, and specials. So whatever grade you picked, check on what you're doing. How is your day starting? Ensuring that our school culture emphasizes the importance of learning is a priority for us. One way we are doing this is by reinforcing our school-wide expectations with positive recognitions and celebrations. Every Tuesday, our announcements are delivered via a Google Meet Bobcat broadcast, where we share our weekly celebrations. These include Bay Lane Bravo Specialist Awards, Student of the Week recognitions, Bobcat Way ticket raffles, and our traveling Bobcat Buddy Principal Award. In case you haven't noticed, being a Bobcat is important to us. We also have behavior-focused PLC meetings where we review data trends and find specific areas that need reteaching and grade-level goal setting. We are pleased to share that our behavior incident risk report indicates that we are in good shape. 95% of our students are considered low risk. 100% of the students in the some and high risk categories receive or have received support through intervention, child study teams, and/or IEP-related services. We are dedicated to building a robust culture of learning, and it's important to us that families are informed and engaged in this journey. Every week, we highlight learning achievements in the Bobcat Blast family newsletter. Additionally, we are actively working on aligning our communication and feedback processes across grade levels. This has been identified as an area for growth through insights gathered from our family satisfaction survey. When asked to respond to the statement, "I receive feedback on my child's learning," a November Pulse survey indicates that we are making progress on this endeavor, measured by a 0.21 increase from last year's survey result. The significance of learning is further highlighted in our student survey. The statement, "Learning is important at my school," received one of the highest rankings, with the top-rated item being the strong affirmation that my teachers care about me. Let's continue with our school day so we can show you some more of this important learning. What are you up to now? For most students, the morning hours are heavily focused on literacy and math learning. As the clock moves closer to 11, we are also starting the first of our 5 lunch and recess periods. You also may have noticed a lot of intervention blocks in our schedule. This reflects another important pillar of our work. Let's take a minute to talk about our target group focus. Many students are supported with additional small group instruction. To support closing foundational skill gaps, we are leaning into evidence-based interventions and also leveraging our new curriculum resources. Our teaching and learning coach team has been busy creating individualized learning plans that are aligned with the Wisconsin Act 20 reading law. The graphs on this slide illustrate the performance of our 4th grade target group on the Universal Screener STAR assessment. STAR is a reliable predictor of forward performance, and these are the same students referenced in an earlier slide. On the left, we present the reading data, and on the right, the math data. When comparing our fall and winter results, we observe noticeable progress and growth. However, the data also indicates that we still have a significant number of students who are below proficiency, highlighting the need for ongoing support in foundational skill development. As we conduct our mid-year data review and assess the progress of our target group students, we focus on 3 guiding questions for our planning. Each student performing below proficiency is examined individually through the following lenses. What is working well? Let's continue those effective strategies. What are the possible barriers? If we are not seeing the desired growth, what adjustments can we make? And finally, what support is needed to facilitate this change? This mid-year deep dive allows us to regroup and realign our instructional approach to better support our students' needs. Speaking of the middle of the year, makes for a nice segue to the middle of our school day. 12 o'clock brings more lunch and more academics. For the first time this year, we have 4 case students joining us in the cafeteria as part of our new wraparound care program offered in partnership with Champions. Lunch and recess also provides time for students to engage in optional self-empowerment opportunities. They can do this by participating in a wide variety of leadership and enrichment experiences. Student Empower groups serve many purposes. You were able to experience one of our groups, the choir, at dinner this evening. Other offerings include a reading committee that hosts our annual Blaze and Books event, kindergarten open house ambassadors, a knitting and crochet club, math clubs, and a school spirit team. Busy days make the time fly by, and believe it or not, when the clock turns 1, we are closing in on the last lunch of the day. To support all of the transitions that occur between our 44 classes, we realize that we need to be as strategic as possible with our incredible team of support staff. Ensuring that we are maximizing the talented adults in our building is another high leverage action step. When our educational assistants are not supervising lunch and recess, they are engaged in classroom learning and instruction. Our teaching and learning coaches provide training and support for teachers and assistants to ensure that our human resource minutes are maximized to their fullest potential. The positive impact of this work is exemplified in our employee experience survey results. Our highest ranked survey item is the statement, "The work I do has a meaningful impact on the lives we serve." The collective commitments and pride of our staff make a difference every day. And so the day continues. As the clock winds down, the important learning is still happening across school settings. The 2 o'clock hour has a little bit of everything: literacy, math, specials, science, social studies, writing, intervention, recess, and snack. As we get closer to the end of the day, I want to pause and ask everyone to think back to your own elementary school experience. What comes to mind? Unforgettable school memories often include moments of deep friendship, laughter shared with classmates, cherished moments with favorite teachers, field trips, and special school events. These memories are sometimes referred to as imprints. In addition to creating a learning culture through literacy, math, science, and social studies, we also provide experiences that will imprint as positive memories. From spirit walks to special assemblies, and from fire truck visits to fancy lunch fun. When our students look back on their school experience, we hope they will feel a sense of nostalgia for the carefree days of their youth and of being a Baleen Bobcat. So our school day is done. It has been busy and fun, and we thank you for joining us. I will now take the time to answer any questions.
Questions?
I think you've done a great job improving over the years. I know that this has been a process, right? Because Baleen first came to fruition like 5 years ago? Or-
We are 7 years old.
7 years old, okay. So, I mean, it's a big school and it's a lot to undertake, and it's nice to see the nice improvements that you've done, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, that just says how thorough your presentation was. Great job. Thank you, Sarah, for everything that you do for the kids here. All right.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, leadership team. Thank you for the incredible staff that fills this building every day with a genuine love for our students and a belief in the work. That data point from the employee engagement survey speaks volumes about your care every single day, and we're truly grateful for that. So, and I apologize, there's really no good transition to the next presentation. Searched for that for years, and unfortunately, there's just not. So at this time, we will welcome our Muskego High School leadership team, and they'll be sharing their mid-year report for our efforts around random drug testing and creating a drug-free environment at the high school.
Thank you for having us here tonight. I am Brenton Roberts, one of the associate principals at the high school. This is Jessica Prokop, one of the other associate principals. So we are happy to be here tonight to share with you our mid-year update on our process of making sure that we have a drug-free school and trying to keep our kids safe and making safe choices. So let's get to it because we are excited with what we get to share with you. So this year, with our canine searches, we've had a total of 7 total canine searches. 2 of them outdoor, which we do in the early months when weather is a little bit better to be outdoors. We have had 5 indoor searches since then. We are going through not just classrooms, but we're doing locker rooms and we're doing bathrooms as well, because you never know where you're going to find something. So we are utilizing our canine officers to help us in those searches. I should say that we've had, with our outdoor indications, we've had 2 indications. We have not had any evidence that we have found when we've had indications. And inside, this is good, we've had 0 indications during our indoor searches. So you can see a trend that is a good one for us to see from our years from 2019 to current. Obviously, we are only halfway through the school year, just a little bit over halfway through the school year. And you can see that our indications are significantly down at this point in time, which is good. And obviously not having found any evidence is also a good thing.
All right, on to random drug testing, or RDT. So each month, we 15 students who are involved in co-curriculars or who have parking permits are randomly selected by Pro Healthcare for the full panel, which includes the substances that you see there. Additionally, 2 students who are involved in athletics are randomly given the performance enhancing drug or PED panel. To date, we've had 5 test dates, which is 75 students. Also a good trend that we are seeing so far this year. Of those 5 test dates, we've only had 4 positive results. 2 of those were nicotine only, and 2 of those were nicotine and marijuana combined. So there's our trend, as you can see, over the past several years. Also, just to note, we still have that 19-20 school year on there, which was only about 5 or 6 test days, so that was kind of a half of year. And then you can see the following years, and then a very good trend so far to date. A few updates to our practices over the last couple of years in efforts to help students make healthy decisions. One thing is we have gone to a frequency of searches. You want to speak to that a little bit? Okay.
So frequency of our searches, we've actually gone to, during our indoor months, we've gone to 2 searches per month, which we were only doing 1 per month before. Obviously, this has been assisted because we have K-9 Officer Tito in the building. Not only is he cute, fluffy, and everyone loves him, he is good at his job. So it's allowed us to do more searches just because he's already in the building, and having Officer Chrysolides as his handler in the building helps with that process. It allows it to be much more efficient than having to bring in a 3rd shift or 2nd shift K-9 officer. And it's been very beneficial to have that, Officer Chrysolides and Officer Tito in the building. Talk about daily practices. Just want to point this out that if we need to do a search during the day, let's say we are alerted that something, there could be a smell or whatever it is, it makes it much more efficient that we are able to utilize Officer Tito in the moment. So that has been much more efficient as well. That doesn't happen very often. Just want to make sure you guys understand that. But it's just been, it's the efficiency of having Officer Tito in the building in the moment makes it a great resource for us. We talk about our parking suspension reduction program. That's something we have been doing. It is a process where we are, if a student tests positive, we are able to reduce that parking, the reduction from 18 to 9 weeks, which allows the student to be put on the monthly RDT plan, which allows that student then to reduce if they test negative as they go through the process of testing with us. At this point in time, we've had 1 student this year that has been on this plan. And we have, our other part of this is our behavior agreements, which is something to help us partner with families and the students to help those students make smart choices. So part of those agreements are usually, we as a recommendation of random searches, which means we do once a month, twice a month, we go through and we have students that are on the behavior agreements, and we randomly choose a name from the list of names that are in the agreement pool. And we will do a search of the student, of themselves, the person, their backpack, if they have a parking permit, their car. It is something that the parents agree to during the process of when we go through. If there's been discipline that has been handled with the school, this is part of our readmit meeting with the parents. They can deny this part of the agreement. That's why it is a recommendation. It is not a requirement. A lot of parents understand the importance of having their students not bring drugs to school and not be using. And so majority of parents choose this as something to help support their students and support us to help their students make good choices. We have 5 students right now that are testing with our monthly drug testing that are on a behavior agreement. We have those students on, and depending on when they tested is when they would come off. So that's how we build out the agreements as we sign that with us and the parents and the student.
Great. Some other efforts that we have been engaging in over the past couple of years, again, an effort to help students make healthy decisions. New this year, we partnered with our athletics and activities department, where we had a call to action, so to speak, with coaches. Coaches, of course, are often very positive individuals in students' lives, often have a lot of positive influence over students. The call to action was in helping students make healthy decisions, in particular with substance use. And a lot of messaging around peer pressure. So the activities department also made some signage and one-pagers around how to handle peer pressure, talking points to say if you're being pressured into something. So this is something that we've done new this year that we hope to continue to partner with our athletic department with. Other efforts from over the years, we have created educational opportunities for families. We often put messages in our family newsletter each week as far as substance use, just to help educate parents and families on that. We partner with our student services department to share resources with families. Years ago, our health teachers did include the risks of vaping in our health curriculum. Years ago, we also added nicotine to our random drug testing panel. We partner with the Detour program to offer substance use educational programming to students who may have had an AODA event at school, and we offer it as alternative days to suspension. We want to support students in their education, get them back to classes, but also help educate them about substance use. We have started using metal detecting wands a few years ago, which just helps in the efficiency of these types of situations. And then we, of course, do the random breathalyzing at school dances. So that concludes our presentation, if there's any questions.
Just a quick question. So how often is Officer Tito just walking the halls, or what's kind of the cadence? And the reason I say that is, you know, I've seen him at events, and there's a positive correlation with his presence and the reduction in the number of, I guess, incidences, which to me suggests that, you know, people don't want to take the chance of walking past him. Am I thinking about that right or not?
Hard to speculate, you know, like what goes through. I do like the correlation. We love having the dog.
Yeah.
We love dog SRO support in general. I think having an SRO is one thing that really makes a difference in fighting it. I don't know how far kids have gone there yet. I haven't heard those whispers.
Sure.
I do know that we thought we had a report, a couple weeks ago, we had a report in a bathroom that there was a smell in the bathroom, and we brought Tito in it, and Tito found the objects, and we would never have found those objects. I think we've speculated kids hide things and we can't find it. We don't know where. It could be anywhere really. I think that having a dog in the building is really an asset. I think over a longer time period we'll have a trend where we can see that, but that's my hope. You know, I hope that they're more cautious. And it's like having on the side of the road when you're driving and you see a car parked and it's got lights on it. It's a deterrent for everybody to slow down a little.
And you had asked about visibility with Officer Tito. It's when he is in the building with Officer Chrysalides, they're, you know, out and about during lunches. They're out and about during passing periods. So high visibility. You know, the correlation is great having him in a building. I believe that there are a lot of students though that don't actually recognize him as a drug sniffing dog. So it's interesting because when students find out, they're like, oh, I just thought he was like a support dog, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm sure that's part of it, but it is, you know, being visible is a daily thing, as long as they're in the building. If they're not doing other events, or if they're, you know, training, because that's an important part of keeping Tito up to snuff. Huh?
Nice.
So it is something that there is a lot of time. So that would be the only time that he's probably not visible, is when they are out doing the training or other activities, whether it be at a middle school or elementary school, those kinds of things.
Yeah, what I love about it is that his presence is non-threatening, right? I mean, he's a golden retriever, and he's cool, and you know, it gives comfort to the students on multiple different levels, but he also serves a different purpose, which is, hey, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to bring it in school and stuff. So I like it. I think it was a great ad.
So I have a couple questions. You may recognize them from some I've asked in the past. But first I want to thank you guys for all the efforts that you do to try and keep the drugs out of school. Every little bit helps. I mean that. It's so important for our kids to not be distracted by drugs in the school. I ask this every time, and I'm still assuming that we inform the parents if we get an indication on a car, or even if there is no evidence, just so the parents can take an appropriate action that they feel they may need to. Whether it's making sure that they're associating with people that aren't going to be getting them down the road of drugs, or if something else is happening, that they're on top of it, or at least they have the opportunity to be on top of that. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so when we have an indication, and we do pull the student from class and to go through, let's say it's an outdoor search, indication on a vehicle, that, you know, the student is pulled out, we go through the process of making sure that everything is secure, parents are informed, and officer is usually there to also have a conversation with the parents so they understand why, if we did not find something, you know, why there might still be an indication. It could be someone was in the car or whatever it is that could have carried something on their clothing, because the dog, the amount of time that the smell stays in the vehicle can be a very long time. And so we explain all that to the parents so that they know, and yes, they are informed immediately after we've done the search.
And I would add to that too, sorry, Brett, that our SROs are really great about making follow-up calls related to that. In the past, I've had parents ask questions I'm not really comfortable answering. I don't have the full information. Our SROs always fill in the gaps for the parents, because it really is about educating. And a dog that indicated for a reason. You know, and that I think is a message that parents they need to hear, is even if it wasn't found, there's a reason why the dog indicated. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, and my second question is, so what if a student is in both sports and they have parking, and there's an indication with evidence, they found evidence, or they don't pass the random drug testing, they don't get, I guess, what is it, withdrawn from the sport or put on probation from the sport and lose their parking? Or how does that work if there's?
Yeah, good question. So with the random drug testing, if a student was randomly selected for that and there is a positive result and they're in co-curricular and have a parking permit, there is a consequence for both. So they do lose their parking and have a code violation. If it's one or the other, then it's one or the other. If a student has a substance found in their backpack as a result of a canine search or just any other reasonable suspicion that we have during the school day, there's not a co-curricular code violation piece there. It's just a suspension from school. And then there's no parking permit revocation for that either, so they're kind of separate.
Okay.
The random drug testing is kind of separate consequences from a typical, if there was something found because of a canine search or any other indication at school.
And why is that treated so separately like that?
Excuse me, so, my understanding is the random drug testing program was created as more of a deterrent. So when students are randomly selected, it is a deterrent from using substances because you have this privilege of having your parking permit and you are an athlete or in a club, so you're held to that higher standard. So we don't suspend from school for that. It's just more of a separate consequences, so to speak, for that. Whereas if it's something from, if you have, like I said, something on you from a canine search or any other reasonable suspicion, it's not a part of that random drug testing consequence for that deterrent. If that makes sense, how I explained it.
They do
Yeah.
receive a code violation if they're caught in school.
Yes, I apologize, yes. Anytime you're suspended, thank you, anytime you're suspended, that does also trigger a code violation. Because again, being an athlete, you are held to that standard, but it doesn't impact your parking, yeah.
Okay.
Really, the only difference is with RDT, we don't suspend a student from school. So they're really held to the same standards. It's just that's another piece to it, that an RDT positive indication would not result from a suspension in school.
And finally, I just want to make a comment. It's with the fact that we had a few indications but no evidence. The obvious conclusion is that the random drug testing and having Tito in the building and every other thing that we're taking is helping to keep the drugs out of school, which that may not stop every kid from getting involved in drugs, but it is a deterrent to it. Is that what you feel, is that everything that we're doing is actually working towards that, or are we just getting lucky?
I think we hope to think that that's the conclusion that we're drawing. Might be too early to tell. I think all of it plays a role. I think helping educate parents, having conversations with their children. I think, again, working with coaches is something that has helped. And I think all of it, we hope to plays a role versus just one big thing, just maybe a lot of little things.
I think usage is, it has flattened nationally. It had been going up drastically. It's kind of flattened a little, but has not declined much. I think we definitely, our numbers have gone down, but I'm very conscious that we have kids that are struggling with usage, and it continues to be a priority for us. We hear frequently from parents that their kid is struggling in school, grades have gone down, attendance is worsening, and to me it's a huge red flag. sometimes we don't catch the student, right? But I think that continuing the messaging, the education, providing a reason not to bring it to school is huge. I'm optimistic, but I'm also watchful because I do think our teens are struggling with decision making. I also think the access is very, very easy for kids to get today, and it's easier to conceal than ever before.
I would say one of the educational conversations that we have on a frequent basis with parents, whether it be, you know, if they're caught doing something at school or not, it's if we see something that's concerning and you share with parents that you can go to Walgreens, you can go to Walmart, and you can also do this at home. And it's interesting having that conversation with parents and educating that way, that they're like, oh, I can. And, you know, just to help them in every aspect, whether it be at school or at home.
Thank you for answering all my questions, and thank you everybody for indulging me. This is one of the things that I really am passionate about, is making sure we do our best to keep the drugs out of the school.
We really appreciate your support.
Yeah.
So I think last year we talked about what the distribution was of what grade level these are coming from, and whether or not there's any attempt to bridge with the middle schools to try to proactively address this so that when they come into the high school they know. Is that taking place yet, or is that something that's still on the radar?
Not to date. I think this last data, the 4 students were kind of all across the board, so I don't know if that's a trend. We need to just keep watching.
Okay.
It is higher in 9th graders, so.
I would add to that too, and it's more anecdotal because I don't have specific numbers because the numbers are low. I think I was saying to you guys as we were sitting there, I think we are experiencing more and more younger parents of younger children that have a better understanding of the risks. I think they're more aware, and I think our parents are a little more savvy of what's out there. That also may be playing to some of the numbers going down a little bit, but I think parents 7-8 years ago when vaping really blew up were surprised it was their kid. I think now parents in middle school, our middle schoolers are aware that it very well could be their kid, and they have to keep a pulse on it. We have not partnered yet with our middle schools on all the opportunity. I think that'd be a really great opportunity. I think that the bridge between 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade is when kids really start to express boundaries, and I think they start to go down paths that aren't always healthy.
Yeah, I know Dare is in 5th grade, but it seems like it stops there and doesn't pick up again until high school. So I know you guys are high school centric, but if there's something that we can do to expand that, I think would be good.
Great idea, I like that.
So there is in the middle school curriculum for PE, some learning around this, I think in either 7th or 8th grade as well, but I think there's always an opportunity when you're talking about something as important as this addiction real.
Because was it about 4 years ago that Dr. Diaz sent me the link? She just redid it, and so I can send it to you, and she's willing to have us put it in our newsletter again. She did a whole talk on vaping at Children's,
Sure.
so.
Does Tito ever go to the middle schools?
Big favorite of middle schools.
Yeah. He is well liked.
Officer Chris is liked as well.
Who? Who was that? There's a person with that dog? I've never seen him with the dog. Tito's such a great dog to have around. I spend as much time with him as I can when I see him. A great addition. I see other schools probably looking at doing that as well. I think it is a huge deterrent. Just in general, are you seeing a lot of vaping as much as we have over the last 5 years? Has it gone down? Has it stayed the same? Are you catching as many? Because I know there was a point where we were really struggling.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the data yet this year. I think we're still struggling. I think if there's 3 kids in our building, we're struggling with it, and getting it out of our schools real. And it's easy to say, well, the number is going down, but for that family that's having a kid in crisis, it's up. And I think that's kind of how I approach it. Until it's all gone, it's up. And yeah, it's so easily accessible for our kids right now, and they struggle with it. It's highly addictive. It's more addictive than anything that anybody in the room would have experienced. The THC is more concentrated than ever before, and the nicotine concentration is really high. We're starting to see a little bit of a shift. I think we may have talked a little bit about this last year. Some of the kids aren't vaping, but they're using nicotine pouches. So that's a substitution kids are doing instead of actually doing active vaping. We're struggling there a little too. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy what
Adults
kind
are
of stuff that we
definitely
have to
willing
watch
take
for.
money from teenagers. It's terrible.
Any other questions?
Terry, if I can just add quickly,
Yes.
because it is, you hit the nail on the head when you made the statement around other schools are asking questions about Tito and how this happened. And I just want to take a moment to compliment the board. These conversations, since I've been a part of this district, have always centered around what else can we do to continue to expand upon the opportunities we have to help educate our families and our students about the risks associated with vaping. It wasn't that long ago that we gave a presentation to the board about this new idea of having a dog that's certified in drug identification and could be a service companion and could get trained as a weapons detection. A lot of schools have started to ask that question. What makes our situation very unique is we have an incredible partnership and a very supportive community. I won't call the person out by name, but there are huge costs associated with identifying an animal like this, because if I name the person, every school district in southeastern Wisconsin would be tapping on her tonight. But in addition to that connection and partnership, the way our community has rallied around and they privately fundraise and donate all the dollars associated with our K-9 units within our entire police department. Additionally, one of our student activities has partnered to help cover the costs of training and the other costs associated with having a K-9 animal in our building. So again, when I think about what it means to be one warrior, it truly is a community that cares about its kids, and every aspect of that community steps up and helps to do something, whatever it is they can, to help keep our students safe. So really grateful for that partnership and that support. It is making a huge difference in a lot of ways, so appreciate it. Great work to the leadership team and the staff at the high school. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, moving on to other reports. President's report. Just another thank you to Sarah for having us and hosting us. The students were amazing. And the staff that's come to support your school here at our meeting. For our board, within the next 2 weeks or so, you're going to get a link to a survey for a board self-evaluation, which we have done before. It may look a little bit different this year because of our evaluations have changed, but watch for that. The winterizer was amazing. Thank you to everyone who did that. The building was jam-packed from end to end, and to have, like, we had 2 different schools here competing against us at the same time. There was a lot of potential for a lot of things to happen. There was a lot of police presence, which was nice. Everywhere we walked, there was somebody. Tito was there, so everybody wanted to see Tito. But everything just seems so well put together, and I mean, I couldn't even imagine having a better event. It was fantastic. And let's see. The youth wrestling meet that you guys had that you were talking about in the first time that you did that, right? With that, so my great nephew wrestled in that from a different school, and his parents told me it was fantastic. Their experience coming here, and they've wrestled everywhere. They've got 4 kids, they all wrestle. They said it went so well, so smooth, in and out, and the facility was amazing, they said. So, amazing job at putting that together for the very first time and having such an incredible result. And my last thing is I just want to say again to Julie, congratulations for your Business Manager of the Year. She did receive the award again at the convention last 2 weeks ago. So it was another special recognition for you, and we are so grateful to have you. You take care of us so well. You take care of our community. You make sure everybody knows what's going on financially. You're always 3 steps ahead of everyone, planning. You have answers for us on everything we ask, and you never say no. You're always willing to do anything that we ask and give us and all of your time that we need. So thank you so much for that. And that concludes my report. So So other board member reports. Brett?
I emailed everybody the results of the delegate assembly at the convention. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll answer them as best I can. And I attended the lunch for Julie. It was incredible. Everybody talked about what amazing jobs she does and what a great resource she is. I was a little disappointed though that we got a video and not a speech, but that's something we'll have to live with. And I'll ditto everything that Terry said. Thank you.
Jason? Lori?
I too want to say thank you to Sarah and the whole staff, because I just love this artwork, and I think it's so cool. And just to listen to the kids sing warms my heart, so I'm grateful that they have those opportunities. Also, congratulations, Julie. And then just a little point of privilege, as we've talked about this wonderful community that we live within. I just wanted to remind people, you may have seen, we do have a 4K Park and Rec teacher in our district that has been dealing with complications from breast cancer. And we are doing a benefit for her this Saturday at the Muskego Moose Lodge. So starting at 4:30, there's a spaghetti dinner. And then at 7, all sorts of fun is gonna break out. There's raffles, but there's bourbon tasting and other things too. But I just wanted to put that out there as the fact that we are coming together as a community to support one of our own. And if you can attend, that would be fantastic.
Kevin, and welcome to Kevin's son Cade, who's hanging out with us tonight. Hi. Do you have anything?
No, I got nothing.
And Tracy?
Yeah, I was at the convention as a CISA 1 rep and put together my presentation that I give to them and to share it with you and the results of what, came from the delegation and stuff. So that's all there for you to see.
All right, on to committee reports. Educational Services Committee.
No report. We'll be meeting with the Educational Services in 2 weeks. So
Do you have a
report
date for your next meeting?
Yes,
That's-
February 24th.
February 24th. Policy Committee.
Same date, no update, but same date.
Same date as all right, awesome. And Business Services Committee.
Same date. It's going to be an extended meeting though, because we're gonna have representatives, Maxey and Wickers there, as well as Senator Bradley, giving us a legislative update and answer any questions the public has as it pertains to our schools and what they're working on.
Awesome. So if anyone wants to come to that, that's a really good opportunity to talk to your representatives, your state representatives, your senator. They came last year for the first time in a long time that the board has had them in, and it was really good. So that'll continue to be an annual thing, but please, you're welcome to come to that. That is February 24th, so you can watch for that on our.
Just as a point of clarification, Educational Services is before that. So we're not just combining all of our time for one big meeting. We are actually going to be meeting for the Educational Services at 4:45.
All right. Moving on to resolution action items. Teacher contract language changes.
Motion to approve the teacher contract language changes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? This was discussed and gone over at the Business Services Committee a couple months ago.
Yes.
Any questions anymore? No? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Early College Credit Program.
Motion to approve early college credit program credits for summer 2025 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 2025 capital project track resurface.
Motion to approve the AFS track and suburban asphalt to reconstruct the Muskego High School running track in the amount of $213,000.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one quick question. How long roughly is the life of the track?
The base is probably over 20 years old right now. The coating on top, we usually do like every 7-ish years, so I've done it once, and it was probably done right before I started. But right now, the cracking in the base is so that if we put the coating on top of it, it would crack through. So we're kind of at that time where we have to redo it, like a parking lot.
Do you know what it's scheduled for?
Sometime after July 1st, and it'll probably be a few
After the
weeks.
season.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jeremiah, is it rubber top? Is that what it is? It like ground up tires and things like that? So what we're doing is we're taking the asphalt underneath it?
Correct.
Okay,
And a new coating on top, and new lines and stuff.
okay.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. On to discussion items, we don't have any there. 11, information follow-up. You'll find your monthly financial reporting there and your list of support staff, co-curricular hires, resignations, and retirements. And on to number 12, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.